Another day with thunderstorms showing up on our First Alert Defender radar network. Plenty of activity out there and more concern about high water. We'll track all of those thunderstorms.
The father of a well-known horse trainer pleads not guilty to animal cruelty. We'll have an update on the horses police say he and his daughter abandoned.
An apology would be nice.
This free produce here at God's Food Pantry in Somerset was used as a weapon over the weekend. We'll explain coming up.
WKYT News starts now with First Alert Weather.
Good evening. We just can't catch a break. More rounds of storms are rolling across the bluegrass.
Yeah, you can see it back there. We could see more heavy rain and flash flooding, which is why our WKYT First Alert Severe Weather Day continues. We begin now with meteorologist Jim Caldwell.
And we've got plenty of thunderstorm activity now coming together, really impacting the Lexington area now as we have a flash flood warning in effect. And it's not going to get any better for this area because we've got thunderstorms lining up right back toward Louisville. And guess what's happening? They're headed right back in the same direction here into Lexington. Here's what it looks like up close and personal with the flash flood warning. It also includes Clark County as well, and it runs through 8:30 tonight. This is because of rains we picked up earlier and more of this heavy rain that's going to be training over the same real estate again and again over the next couple of hours. Now watch as we put it into motion here. You'll see the thunderstorms going up and raining very hard. Now look out toward the west into Versailles and beyond, and you can see more of it just set to roll into the same areas again and again. So those familiar places that are notorious for high water issues, that's what you need to pay attention to here over the next several hours to watch for high waters in some of those locations as these storms continue to roll through the area. More storms to our south and east coming up in a few minutes. We'll track those and show you what we expect around the entire Commonwealth. Coming up, guys.
Jim, thank you. We're tracking a breaking news alert out of Powell County tonight. The emergency management agency there says lightning hit a gas interchange at the Tennessee gas pipeline on Winchester Road. That strike shut down power at the facility and caused an oily substance to leak. Highway 15 is shut down right now while crews work to clean up that mess. We have a crew there, and we will have an update for you on WKYT News at 6. Now to our top story. A well-known horse trainer charged with animal cruelty here in Kentucky still hasn't been seen, but today the case against her father made it to the courtroom.
Charles, or Chuck Burrell, and his daughter Maria charged with 43 counts of animal cruelty. Investigators say they found dozens of horses in poor shape on a farm they were leasing. Victor Puente checked up on those horses today. It's our top story at 5:30.
The horses Chuck Burrell and his daughter are charged with abusing continue to recover. Today was the first court date since dozens of charges were filed. Chuck Burrell didn't appear at his arraignment earlier today. His attorney entered a not guilty plea on his behalf. The horses he's charged with abusing are still in Mercer County, being cared for by volunteers.
They're amazingly resilient, especially thoroughbreds.
Deputies say many of the horses were starving. Burrell's daughter, Maria Burrell, was listed as the manager for the farm.
You can't take abused, neglected, and starved animals and expect them to put on, 300-400 pounds in a month or two. It's not going to happen.
While Chuck Burrell was arrested, Maria is yet to answer to the charges.
I will be satisfied with nothing less than Maria Burrell spending some time in jail, fines, never owning another animal in the state of Kentucky or otherwise, never being allowed back in the racing industry, and see that every horse is removed permanently from her ownership.
But Cheek says local law enforcement can't do much when the laws make animal cruelty a misdemeanor.
We are the horse capital of the world, but we have the 50th worst record out of 50 states in animal neglect and animal cruelty.
Following this afternoon's hearing, we asked Burrell's attorney, Larry Catlett, why he didn't appear in court. He started to walk away from us, and when we followed him, he told us to go away. In Mercer County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
The Mercer County Sheriff told us that because Maria Burrell is charged with misdemeanors, she cannot be brought back to Kentucky, but she could be arrested if she was found in the state. And new tonight, we have learned that the sentencing for a former personnel cabinet secretary here in Kentucky has been delayed. Tim Longmire pled guilty to a federal bribery charge back in April, admitting to his role in a kickback scheme. Sentencing was set for August 18th. It's It's now been postponed to September 22nd because of a lawyer schedule conflict. Longmire is free until sentencing.
Investigators are still waiting on some test results to figure out how a Southern Kentucky girl died. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Whitley County. 16-year-old Kayla Lockaby was reported missing on Friday. Deputies found her body on Friday night in Whitley County. A man that is believed to have been with her, 21-year-old Skylar Barnett, is in jail on drug charges. According to an arrest citation, police say Barnett came to Lockaby's home last week and picked her up against her foster parents' wishes. When they arrested him, police say they found heroin in Barnett's pocket. Barnett will be arraigned tomorrow. In Perry County, Hazard Police arrested more than a dozen suspected drug dealers. Police say they went out this morning with about 25 indictments. They arrested 14 people charged with drug trafficking. Police say the drugs being sold varied from pills, cocaine, and meth. Police say they're determined to put an end to the drug problem in Perry County.
We need to help them in any way that we can, and this is one way that we can. If we can cut off the supply, it should help reduce the demand.
Police say they've been working since February to get enough information on the suspected drug dealers.
They say someone used their produce to vandalize a building. Leaders with God's Food Bank in Pulaski County say that sometime Friday night, someone used produce they left out for people to pick up to break a window. As Andrea Walker shows us, it's just not the window that was damaged.
God's Food Pantry in Somerset provides food for roughly 30,000 people a year. Executive Director Brenda Russell says the program serves based on income, which isn't always the perfect model.
Sometimes there are people that don't fall within our guidelines as far as the income, but they still have needs.
All right, here's the bags.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
A perfect example is fresh produce, which the pantry now gives out to anyone who needs it, even after normal business hours.
We're just glad to be able to help.
Unfortunately, one man's treasure turned out to be another man's weapon over the weekend.
Sometime between Friday night and Saturday morning, someone took the fresh produce from God's Food Pantry and used it to shatter the glass of the business next door. That wasn't the only casualty.
Well, the car was parked up near the window, and when the projectile came through the window, it shattered glass over the hood and part of the roof of the car.
While the business isn't happy with the scratched paint job, they're more upset that someone would do something so careless.
We work so hard. I know the pantry works so hard to provide the services they do, and we work so hard for the community service that we do, and it's just disheartening to have the damage done for no good reason.
Russell says that while her anger has subsided,
now I'm just more sad because I know that this kind of thing will affect us putting out produce for the people that are in need.
She says they're not filing a police report because the damage was minimal. What she's hoping for is simple.
An apology would be nice, or maybe some volunteer hours.
Russell says they will no longer be leaving produce out overnight.
Is that enough?
Yep.
Okay.
That is enough.
In Somerset, Andrea Walker, WKYT.
Now, Russell posted an open letter on Facebook to those responsible for the vandalism. As of last check, the post has more than 1,000 shares, but so far no one has come forward.
He is as well known as Kentucky Bourbon. Oscar-winning actor Matthew McConaughey has a new starring role. He's the new pitchman for Wild Turkey Distillery. New at 5:30, Mike Linden tells us why the distillery is teaming up with the actor.
It's been a secret for over 2 years, but now the secret's out of the bag, and you don't have to be a true detective to figure it out. Academy Award-winning actor Matthew McConaughey has partnered with the Wild Turkey Bourbon Distillery as their creative director.
I'm here to learn and talk about a great American invention that we all know as bourbon.
The Hollywood A-lister has teamed up with the Russell family, who have been making Wild Turkey bourbon since 1952.
And he's seen the story for what it really was, not just bourbon, but about the heritage and about the families that have been doing this for 5, 6, 7 generations.
2 years ago, another Kentucky bourbon distillery, Jim Beam, partnered with another Hollywood actress, Mila Kunis. Russell says over the past few years, the landscape of bourbon drinkers has changed.
And then all of a sudden, the young bartenders started making the classic drinks again, a Manhattan, Old Fashioned, Whiskey Sours. And nowadays, my growing community is that young man and woman.
Bourbon experts point to this cocktail culture among many factors as to why bourbon is in its golden, or rather amber age.
The tourism, the international, the cocktail culture, that kind of authenticity is just create this perfect storm for bourbon.
As creative director, McConaughey will have 3 years to put his mark on something that is uniquely Kentucky. In Anderson County, Mike Linden, WKYT.
And in case you were wondering, the first television commercial featuring Matthew McConaughey will air in early September.
Still ahead here on WKYT, as the story goes, the legacy of Muhammad Ali began when he had his bicycle stolen in Louisville. Now that moment is coming full circle. Louisville is honoring Ali's legacy.
I'm Bill Bryant. Organizers get ready for the annual Fancy Farm Picnic, and so do Kentucky's 2 major U.S. Senate candidates. And Mitch McConnell's talk of running again in 2020 becomes a national story. The bottom line is on the way.
And that heavy rain that keeps cranking through central Kentucky has sparked a flash flood warning for Fayette and Clark counties. We will track the rest of the rain coming up for you. Thunderstorms keep coming across central and eastern Kentucky right now and have already sparked a flash flood warning for us here in the Lexington area. We'll likely see a few more as the ground is already so saturated. It's easy to get these creeks and streams full in a hurry, so we'll be watching for that, not only around here, but to our east as well, as you see more rounds of heavy rain there. Let's get in on this flash flood warning, and the radar almost looks the same as it did the first time I was talking about this a little bit earlier, about the thunderstorms going up here just in Fayette County. Runs all the way out until 8:30 tonight, so we'll watch again for those low-lying areas, those flood-prone areas, to see some high water, so take it easy out there over the next little bit. Heavy rain still remaining in the area, south of the interstate for the most part, but certainly out there. Here's what we've picked up according to radar estimates within the past hour alone. Across southern sections of Fayette County, around 3/4 of an inch in just an hour. Out into Clark County, around Winchester, better than an inch, all within 1 hour's worth of time. So that is a lot of rain on already saturated ground. Then you look at this. This is the general flow of the showers and thunderstorms coming together now, stretching all the way back on 64 into Louisville and here into Lexington. And guess what they're doing? They're going to keep riding that line. This is kind of the general area I think these thunderstorms could try to drift to, but overall I really think it's going to be confined more to where they currently are. They may veer a little bit, but overall a very wet experience over the next little bit, which again heightens that flash flood threat around here for a while to come. So again, just keep your eyes on what's going on in those creeks and streams outside. Same thing for you folks in eastern Kentucky, because you have a completely different element that we don't have to deal with. You've got that runoff from some of the mountains where it continues to fill in from every direction for your creeks and streams, and the water levels down there are obviously very high over the past rounds of rain that they've picked up in this area as well, from Hyden to Hazard back into Hindman as well. And then we look to the west and you think, oh, we're going to catch a break. No, nothing spotty about these showers and thunderstorms out here. They are coming together and they are going to continue to work their way toward the east, bringing us more flood possibilities as we head through the rest of the evening and pretty much through that 7-day forecast, guys, as we're going to be tracking more rounds of thunderstorms around here, as you see there, with tomorrow and beyond. They'll kind of go down briefly, but we'll still have storms around here on Thursday, and then they will be right back to that higher level as we get toward the end of the week and into the weekend, guys.
Boy, these storms have been such full of so much rain that when it does come down, we just saw Monique earlier in a half an hour, and it was just pouring right there, and then it stops.
And then it stops, that's right. So it's just the nature of the atmosphere around us. There's a lot of moisture that we don't see, we feel it, and that means thunderstorms can produce very heavy rain.
All right, keep an eye out for it. Jim, thank you.
A couple of things happening right now, including a collision. This one's on Athens Boonesboro near Childsburg. That's in front of Jacobson Park. It's an injury crash inbound. You can see the slow traffic. It's almost at a standstill approaching Jacobson Park right now because of that crash. Outbound seems to be moving past it for now, at least. Hopefully we'll be able to keep that open. Drive times this afternoon to Versailles, 11 minutes, to Paris, 20 minutes, and to Winchester, about 25. Now back to you in the studio.
The kickoff to the fall campaign season here in Kentucky is scheduled for this weekend.
And Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he is not done with the Senate. As Bill Bryant tells us, he plans on running again in 2020.
Good evening. The preparations are underway at Fancy Farm for this weekend's big political picnic, where the speeches and the barbecue are both usually quite spicy. It's Kentucky's traditional kickoff to the fall campaign, and it's held in a small community in Graves County. The marquee race this year is for the U.S. Senate. Freshman Republican Rand Paul is running for another term, and he's facing a challenge from Democratic nominee Lexington Mayor Jim Gray. Paul's campaign brushed aside reports this weekend that the Bowling Green Republican still owes about $300,000 in debts from his presidential race. His campaign said the bills will be paid, and he pointed out that other failed presidential campaigns are also closing out the books. Gray, who is popular in Lexington, is untested as a candidate in the state's rural areas. He'll get a chance to reach out to Western Kentucky, to the crowd there, and to the statewide media this weekend. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's revelation that there is a great likelihood that he will run for the Senate again in 2020 made headlines around the nation over the weekend. McConnell made the comment in this studio in an interview with me for Kentucky Newsmakers. McConnell says he's at the top of his game, and he believes he has been effective in serving Kentucky in Washington. McConnell would be 78 years old in 2020 and is already Kentucky's longest-serving senator in history. There's a clip of McConnell's comments on our website, WKYT.com. Moody's Investor Services downgraded Somerset's bond rating because of subsidies totaling $7.6 million since 2007 for a water park there. The rating change is blamed mostly on obligations to the Summer Splash water park. Mayor Eddie Girdler tells the Commonwealth Journal the development is insignificant because interest rates are low and the city doesn't need to borrow any money anyway now. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
The city of Louisville is teaming up with a bicycle company to honor the legacy of Muhammad Ali. Their goal to get children on bikes.
Swin Bicycle Company will donate 100 bikes to children in Louisville, and those children are taking part in a summer bike program that teaches them bike safety. Now, just a bit of history here. It was a red Swin bike that was stolen from a young Cassius Clay when he lived in Louisville. And the mayor says this is an effort not just to honor Muhammad Ali, but all the things he stood for.
We do that by treating each other with respect and dignity and compassion in all of our interactions, and that's how we build on the legacy of the greatest, Muhammad Ali, the Louisville Lip, as I like to say, and certainly the legacy of a great police officer in Joe Martin.
The city is also planning a street festival event in honor of Muhammad Ali that's set for September 17th. At his childhood home. When that bike was stolen, it led him to boxing. There's a direct connection to the coaches.
Great. Just ahead, we will hear from an ex-Wildcat in training camp.
Wesley Woodyard in his third season with the Titans, hopeful of a better season ahead. And Alex Poitras back in Lexington today. After playing in the NBA Summer League, he talks about his future. Sports is next. Stay with us. Alex Poitras among the former Wildcats back in town this week for the John Calipari UK Pro Camp. Tyler Eulis and Jamal Murray also coming in today, and here Tyler gets his pocket picked by one of the campers and it results in a basket. The young boy's name, Jackson Grader. Tyler can't believe it. He usually doesn't face smaller guys. But for several years now, former players have returned in midsummer to help out at the camps, and they all seem to enjoy it.
Oh, no, playing with the kids was fun. You know, Lexington's like a second home to me. I've been here so long. Me, Tyler, playing with them for a little bit, it's real good to see how much they enjoy it, and we enjoy it the same way. I have fun just playing basketball for fun. You don't really get that much chances to do that, so.
Poitras was given a chance to play in the NBA Summer League with Orlando. Training camps will not open until next month. He remains hopeful of getting a chance with an NBA team, but nothing is decided yet.
No, I've talked to a couple teams about camps, so I'm probably going to do that. I just can't say what teams yet because I haven't, nothing official yet. It's just a grind, and then you got to make a decision off of business and what's best for you, since you're a professional now, so you're your own guy, you got to look out what's best for you. Knees are great, I've trained out in LA, I've done a lot of rehab, and PT, add a couple more inches to my vert, I feel fine, feel real healthy, I'm ready to roll.
And NFL camps are now opening, and Wesley Woodyard is beginning his 9th year in the league. This will be his 3rd with the Tennessee Titans. Former Wildcat Avery Williamson also on that Titans defense. Under coach Mike Mularkey, the Titans are coming off a 3-win season, hopeful of making a move up. In Nashville, the NHL's Predators are known for hitting hard, and that's what the Titans are going to have to do on defense.
Absolutely. You know, everybody wants to take the physicality out of football, but to me, in order to be a dominant defense, you have to play smash mouth. And, you know, this whole season we got a chance to watch the Predators play, and that's something that Coach Mularkey really loved. And I think that's the attitude. If you want to be successful and get in the playoffs, that's the attitude and the approach you need to have.
Wesley using the hockey analogy there. Coming up in the next half hour, Somerset on 27 teams in 27 days. We'll be right back.